So a couple of weeks ago we had this part of the room moving, so obviously the spiders all came here from downstairs. You saw that I was refurbing this area, getting rid of a lot of the clutter that was up the top and making enough space for all the spiders. What we don't see is the other side of the room, which is over here. Now obviously backing out the room a little bit so you can see, we have some clutter. Obviously essentials for the spider. We've got lots of water, we have our drills, we have our sand, and then we've got all the boxes of substrate. We have scorpion, millipedes and some marnie here, and on this shelf here we have our springtails and a lot of books and a lot of toot. So what we're going to do is we have a new addition to go in this spot, and that addition is racking. We have the 180 by 90 by 45 deep shelving unit, 175 kilos per shelf. This wasn't meant to arrive for a few weeks, but for some reason they've shipped it early, and we have that here today. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this out, have a look at it and tidy up that side. I've got an enclosure that needs to go on one of these shelves, my 60 by 45, so we might as well put that together and make that part of this video today. Let's go. But before we get into that side of things and building the racking, which we know isn't the most interesting in the world, we've got a rehouse to do of Regalis, so we'll show that first. So, Regalis sling, which is in this right now at the moment. We need to move it out of here. It's not going to see this, the light in this room is awful. But this one needs to come out of here. Before it's too big for the enclosure, I'd rather deal with a smaller Pokie that's not so angry than a bigger one that's been cramped inside an enclosure for a while. And what we've got to move it into is one of these, the mantis den with replacement acrylic top and extra drill holes, so that it can go up on here with the other arboreals, or down there with those looking good. So quite a bit more space for it as well, as you can probably see. Let's move this one out of the way. What we need to do first is find an appropriate piece of cork bark, which we'll find in here. You can never have enough cork bark. This is a massive tub, absolutely full of it, and an old exo background. Anyway, I'm going to dig through here and have a hunt and see if I can find one. I think we found the piece that we're looking for. This little bit here. There, come on, focus, focus, focus. Focus. Right, anyway. This piece here sort of sits quite nicely in here. We can get that looking nice. Nice little lump on there. It doesn't take up too much of the enclosure either, but it's got a nice shape to it. Nice shape to it for the spider to make its web matting behind there and stuff like that. Yep, I think that's what we're going to use. And as always happens, I changed my mind. This piece is much nicer. Look at that. That'll go in there nicely. Once I trim it a little bit, I've just got to trim it ever so slightly, and that's going to sit in there really nicely. Like, it doesn't take up too much space. Doesn't take up too much space. Once it's square in there, it'll be fine. It'll be quite flat to the back. Once I've got it sorted out, just need to get this trimmed up, tiny little bit off this corner, and it will sit flush in there. So we're going to use this one now, no changing my mind again, and I'll get some substrate in here, get some decor in here, and get it all set up in a minute. Right, so that's the cork bark and the substrate in. Now all we've got to do is try and get a little bit of hot glue in here. Hopefully that'll be good enough on that bit. Worst thing about hot glue is the stringing. Let's get some on the side. Make sure it's off the gun. And then try and fix this where it needs to go, which is around there. Serves two purposes, this one. So it'll hold the cork bark still and keep the cork bark still and keep the water bowl nice and high. As you can probably see, it's nice and high up. Right, now we've got to get some cocoa fibre in and stuff like this, but with the camera here it's a pain in the backside. So do bear with me if this goes horribly wrong. So what we're going to put in here, we're going to put in here a little tiny bit of cocoa fibre, just husks, like give it a little bit of texture. And we need some leaf litter. Where have I put that? Always prepared. Break up a couple of these bits. Spider tends to use this as like a little bit of its web curtain it builds at the back, so try and give it a few bits of this. It looks better anyway, it looks more like a woodland floor. So yeah, spread that around a little bit. Give it some of the bits around the back. Just like that. Put a tiny bit of moss just up in this back corner, because then it's got access to take the moss up to the web curtain. Put a little tiny bit of moss back there as well. So let's get hold of some sphagnum moss. You can tell I'm in professional mode today. Nothing's prepared, nothing's ready. Chuck a little bit of moss up there like that. Something like that. I think that'll do. Nice basic setup, but something hopefully the spider will enjoy. I'm going to put a plant in there just to make it look a little bit nicer, but we'll do that. We'll come back in a second once we're ready to move the spider in. So I'll be back in a sec. And we're ready for rehousing, I think. I'm going to see about maybe doing a little trick with giving it a little bit of food, maybe to calm it down a little bit before we try. Not sure if that's going to work or not, but we will see. We've got catch cups around, This is, I might even just be able with this one, just to literally move the cork bark into the new enclosure. I'll have a try and see what happens with the cork bark, see if it starts to get the ump, because it might just stay on the cork bark. If it does, we're just moving it on that. Can we see it's on the back of the cork bark there? Yeah. What we do, we're just going to be really subtle about this one. Just let it do its thing. The cork bark's standing up there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it from here. Let me move this. So the spider is currently just here on the back of this cork bark. There's no need to make this like super fun for video. Spider's just down here, and what I'm hoping it'll do is it'll just find its own way and move to the new cork bark. Don't really want to encourage it too much, don't really want to upset it. It was so calm on the back of the cork bark, I might as well just let it move in its own time. So I'll come back once it's moved. Didn't actually take too long. It literally came out off of its old cork bark and it's gone around the back. So this is the back. Obviously there's loads of room around here for it to web up and stuff like this. And as you can see, spider's just down here. If I can get this, some light in here maybe. Anyway, spider's in there and spider is happy and rehoused. So, job done. No panic, no drama. So what we're going to do first, the only thing I've heard about this shelving units is this shelving looks a little bit thin, as you can probably see. This MDF, it should hold, it says it's 175 per shelf, and I think that's because it has a centre brace that goes along the back here. But I've seen a lot of these MDF ones get some serious mould issues. So what we're going to do, they do recommend on the website that you actually paint these. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get some black gloss, and we're going to give all this a little sprinkly do of some black paint. We have the black painted shelves now for the racking. So it's time to put this bad boy together. We all know what moving stuff is going to look like. We all know what building shelves is going to look like. So what we're going to do is this, and the mess is all gone. Now to put the racking in, and we're done. So we've now got racking ready to go. Just got to now tidy up all this awful mess. And we're done. Racking is all in. Didn't have enough room to not put the bookshelf back in, unfortunately, but look at this. So we have all the storage down there, substrates, and then coming up we've got our 60 by 45 by 30 for hopefully the Sturmy that should be hopefully be coming in the next couple of weeks. And then we have our Scorpion, our Simani, our Millipedes, Giant Train, and our smaller, I think they're called spotty legs or striped legs. And then up top we have the isopods and springtail culture. And then on the very, very top, which is blown out by light, just all the storage boxes, just empty enclosures and stuff like that, that the camera decides doesn't want to focus on. But yeah, those things up there. And then the bookshelf back in, just one of them, just with all my camera gear and stuff like that. But yeah, it's, you know, it's looking pretty good. It's getting there. What I think I need to do is I think this desk needs to go. I think this desk needs to go. If this desk goes, back up a little bit. If this desk goes, what I can then do is I can put another one of those racks that's over there here up to underneath this shelf, so I can have one rack there, which will actually give me a lot more space down here to put stuff on shelves, all the enclosures above, and then I could possibly fit another one here going up here to this shelf, which means, you know, this desk would have to go. But dare I show you the other end of this room. This is all clutter that's got to be binned and filed. I've got a load of rubbish here that just needs to go, but I need to get rid of it. It's shredding stuff. Old video camera that needs to go in the loft. But yeah, the corner desk could go sort of here, and then what will happen is, if I have the corner desk here, I can have the rack in here, because this is where I work when I'm at home. So can't get rid of any of this stuff. But yes, it's getting there. It's my tiny little room of paradise. But yeah, anyway. Right. I've probably got one more update for this video. If I do, I'll insert it now. So yes, the update. We were gifted a lovely little tub of dirt, which contains an amazing little Tarantula.Rookie cyanus, which is the reclassified scorpion from the Heterometrus genus. It's been reclassified as a Tarantula.Rookie. It's like a rainforest scorpion, very similar to the Asian one we've already got, but this one's a tiny little scorpion. I will insert some footage over the top now. But yes, this was gifted to us by our friend Steve W. Honestly didn't need to, buddy, but truly appreciated. As you can see, the scorpion's quite small and very active. He's buried at the moment right down the back here. Sort of gone in there. Didn't eat last night, but yes, nonetheless, lovely little tub of dirt. Hopefully it will grow nice and large in our care. So thanks a lot, buddy, for that. Right, back to the video. Anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, please do like, maybe leave a comment. What do you think about the racking? And yeah, just give me some grief about the fact that I don't have enough room in my room for the things I want to keep here. Right, anyway, I'll catch up with you again next week. Cheers.